Hi there, I'm Karen McNall from Inspired by Graham. Welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to bring you this free card class for the first part of March. And guess what? We're going to be using 4 bundles all in front of me here. They include Nature's Symphony, Lovely Arrangements, Banner Sayings, and Sunshine and Tulips. These are all pretty new. Some of them have been around for a little bit, but I really enjoy using all of them. All 4 cards are part of my customer thank you gift for March 1st through the 14th. So how would you qualify to receive these free card kits? Option number 1 is to place an order of $75 from my online store, and that's product total before tax, shipping, and any Stampin Rewards you may choose to use. Option 2, place a $125 order or more, and I will double your card kits, plus I'll send you a special embellishment for my craft room here in Vermont. And don't forget, when you place a minimum of $75 order, when you get more, you qualify for the product of the month that Stampin' Up! Puts out. You'll also earn a minimum of $7.50 in Stampin' Rewards to use on a future order. Plus, you'll earn points towards a $50 shopping spree through My Perks with Graham Rewards program. So be sure to check all the details on my website. So now go grab a snack, pour a favorite beverage, and join me at my craft table for a little creative time together. So let's get started. All right, here is your first card for today's class. It comes from the Nature Symphony bundle, and the side here is the stamp set, and then we've got a bunch of dies that are also included in the bundle. You can purchase this as a bundle, or you can purchase it as standalones. We also have a embossing folder, and it's called Stone and Vine 3D embossing folder. We're also going to be using for embellishments the basic rhinestone jewels. And our ink color today is going to be Granny Apple Green. So let's get everything going here. I have 2 stamps we'll be using from Nature Symphony, and they are mounted on C blocks. We can take a look at this card real quick. We're using lots of fun, bright colors. Granny Apple Green is your card base. And then we got Melon Mambo and Calypso Coral, Daffodil Delight. And on the inside here, we have a die cut with the Granny Apple Green, and on the inside, just a small vine here that we stamped in Granny Apple Green. Envelope, pretty basic. All right, so we'll get to start on our stamping first, and then we will just assemble the cards. So we've got a little circle here, and we've got our panel and our envelope. Those are the only things that we need out for stamping. Let's bring in our piercing mat because we'll be working with our photopolymer stamps. And don't forget, this card is going horizontal, so your inside panel needs to go that way. And to simply create that vine, it doesn't matter what side you put that vine on. All I did really was just go 2 stamps. So there's 1, and then I like to rotate the paper because it's a little bit easier. And then we'll just put this one over here. All right, so very simple. And let's try that again. I'm going to do something a little different. Let's try to create that vine on the envelope going all the way up on the left side here. Get that over there, and we'll have to just put a little bit towards the top. Let's just go right there. Okay, that's a little bit better than what I did previously. And we have a 1 3/4 inch circle, which is in basic white. And I'm going to stamp the words, "You Make Me Smile." All right, so we got that centered on. Whoops, got that centered on pretty good. And then the last thing I like to do is I like to stamp my angel policy on the back side of my card. So Let's do that too. If you have a personalized stamp you like to use on the back side of your cards, now's the time to do it. Okay, so we're all set with the Granny Apple Green. I'll close that up, put that aside. We'll be using that one again on the Sunshine and Tulips. But for right now, we are just going to assemble the card. It's pretty easy. I'm going to use my Seal Plus. And here's the textured embossed panel here. You can see all the 3D vines, and it's just really nice. I got this on a piece of Night of Navy cardstock, and it's cut 5 1/4 by 4. So I like to use quite a bit of adhesive on any kind of embossed panel. Got my Seal Plus here. New, I think. I haven't used this in a while, so it's just kind of been sitting on my desk and I kind of gravitated towards it. But we'll just simply put this on the front, give it a nice smooth rub here back and forth. And now we're going to kind of work on that focal point with all the vines here I die cut with this Nature Symphony. So again, we've got Daffodil Delight, Calypso Coral, and Melon Mambo. I thought bright colors this time of year really do a lot for people that actually live where I live in the state of Vermont, where we can't seem to see or feel spring yet. So it's going to be like, I think 5 below zero tonight, and it's March 1st when I'm taping this, so I don't really like that. But anyway, let's try to make the day a little bit brighter and cheerful with some of these fabulous Stampin' Up! Colors. So when you're working with this little foliage piece, you can cut it down. It doesn't really matter. And I like to kind of work with it first and kind of just see where it all goes. I think it is much easier to just kind of work with it in pieces. So you can do lots of things here. I kind of like to go around in a circle just because the kind of the focal point here is that circle. We can have that going that way. And then let's cut this one down too. This one is in Daffodil Delight. We're not going to worry about the middle because that's going to get covered up. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that because it's going to look something like that. So I got these other few pieces here, and I can kind of still put them in. Kind of, if we wanted to fill up that whole front here, something like that. So I have all of these popped up with Stampin' Dimensionals. So let me show you how I did this. And then I will do one of these. I'll do 2 of them on camera, and then I will do the rest off camera because it takes a little bit of time to do that. And to shorten up the video, I will just do that off camera. So you'll want some Stampin' Dimensionals. Some of them you want regular sizes, and some of them you probably want the edge piece, or if you have our mini Stampin' Dimensionals, those will actually work perfect. So I'm just going to cut the edge piece here, and I'll work with the larger leaf first. So let's try this Calypso Coral. It'll show up a little bit better on the white background. This one here, that leaf, you can put a full-size dimensional on there. And then also, this one here, a full-size, can just kind of squeeze in there without going over, and you won't see it on the front. But any of these other ones here have to have like a smaller dimensional. I do not put dimensionals on every single leaf. Usually I've been just doing 3. So it looks something like that. And then on this little tiny one, I would use all edge pieces here. And again, I would use 3. This is going to be our adhesive. Instead of this using the Seal Plus, we're going to be using our dimensionals to keep this down on the card front. Okay, so that's how this all works. Let me turn off the camera, work on these, and then I'll come back to you and we'll add them to the front of the card. Okay, so here are all my foliage pieces. They have Stampin' Dimensionals on them. And if you notice, let me just zoom in just a little bit here so you can see them better. I only put them on the upper part of the foliage because we're going to have that circle here over top of all that stem area. So we really don't need to put any of those dimensionals there. Plus, your circles are going to lay a little bit flatter. So let's take off the dimensional backings here. I use my piercing tool because it is a little bit easier, but generally on the really small pieces, you probably could just use your thumbnail. Oops, let's start that one over again. I have a sore wrist. It's one of the reasons why I've been not crafting lately is because this wrist here, we have some snowmobiles now. So I think I like slightly injured my wrist the first time we took them out a couple weeks ago. And I have a muscle in here in my wrist that doesn't feel so good. So I'm trying to nurse it a little bit. So just taking it a little bit easy. And removing all these dimensional backings really probably isn't helping too much. Just because when I put the pressure down, it kind of hurts a little bit. So we'll just take it a little bit slower. Okay, so now we have all of those backings off. And actually, I think I forgot that one. No, I got it. This is one though. I can see it wasn't shiny. Okay, so let's take this and we'll put this in the middle here. And I just like to, I'm not going to make it like that one over there. I'm going to make it differently. So let's put the Daffodil Delight up here. And I'm just going to lightly tap them down just so they'll stay put a little bit. Now let's work with this one here. Let's go. The biggest thing is you don't want to go over the edge because then it won't fit in your envelope. And I kind of like the top here kind of pointing towards one of these corners. And then let's take this one and kind of move it over there. And then we can fill in with the shorter pieces. And let's go, I kind of like the yellow together. I think we're going to fill her. Let's go this way. And then one more. You don't have to put all of these on here. It's totally your choice. But this will be good to show you one that only has the 3 on there. And then this one has every single piece. Now, I'm going to go with that. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but to put these, stick them down, I'm going to use a D block. That way, I know that I'll get all of those dimensionals really secured to that Night of Navy panel. Okay, now let's work on the little sentiment here. I've got a 1 3/4 inch circle, and I'm just going to adhere that to a granny apple green die cut, and this comes from Nature's, oh gosh, can't remember what it was. I know I'll remember it. I haven't used it in so long. I'll think of it. Who knows when I'll think of it, but I'll think of it. I'm going to put probably 5 dimensionals on here just because there's a lot of bulk in that middle and we really want this to stick. Okay, so let's see what we get. We're just gonna cover this up here. And I'm going to use that D block again just to press it down. It'll be easier. And I think everything looks pretty good. Yeah. All right. So we have that white piece here that we'll add to the inside of the card. And I'm just going to add my Seal Plus, just some little tick marks here. And then let's go on the right side this time. The other one I put on that sample card, the vine is on the left side. So let's just put this one on the right side, a little bit different. Okay, the final step is some rhinestone basic jewels. I love these. We can use our Stampin' Blends to color them. I'm just gonna keep them as is, and I'll add 3. Let's see, let's put one over here. There's a nice little blue space there. We have 3 different sizes with the rhinestones, so that's fun to do, to use all 3 sizes. You get a lot of the little tiny ones, which is also fun too. I just like to sneak them in these little spaces here. Let's go over here. There. So in your free card kits, I will be sending you embellishments, so don't worry about that. They will be in your card kit, so don't lose them when you get them. So here is that first card we made. And you can see the difference between the two. Let me know which one you like. Do you like the one on the left here? We'll call that one card number 1. And then this one here is card number 2. Or do you like them both? And then in the inside here, we've got that vine on the left side, and this one should be on the right side. So let me know what you think about this one. We're going to move on to our next card, which is super fun as well. Okay, welcome back. Here is our second card. We're going to be making a thank you card today using the Lovely Arrangements bundle. This has been a really one of our top sellers here. And you can see why. It's just a great stamp set to have. And you get a few different sentiment label dies. You've got some foliage, flowers, and these really cool die cuts as well. And then you can also get the Lovely Stripes embossing folder. This has also been a really top seller, so we'll be using that one in this card. Our embellishment here, as you can see, I already cut some and put them in card kit, one card kit that I did for our free card kits. We are going to be using the Moody Palette Glossy dots. I really like them because they're not sharp or pointy. They're just, they're almost flat, but not. And I don't think your post office will be too upset when you use these. We're also going to cut a small piece of ribbon, and this is a Secret C bordered open weave ribbon. Our ink is going to be Secret C. And let's just clear up here and we will get started creating this one. We'll do our little stamping first. And I've already done some of the die cutting, so we don't have to pull the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine in here. So, but I'll stamp anyway. We're going to use our envelope to stamp with. And let's pull this one in too, because I'll put my Angel Policy on there. Here's the flower that I've already stamped and die cut. We'll need the label, we'll need the inside panel, and here's your scrap. Everything else just goes with the kit. So let's open up our Secret C. And I kind of got everything lined up over here, so it shouldn't go too, it shouldn't be too long here. Let's stamp the flower. We're going to stamp this in a few different locations. First, it's going to be stamped on this scrap, and this just is a scrap from my scrap bin. Now, when I use this stamp, the first thing I thought of is a stamp set that we had many years ago. It was, I had it, I still have it. It's on wood blocks called Flower Shop. Do you guys remember that one? This stamp here reminds me of that one so well. So kind of brings back a little bit of memories. I know I use that stamp set quite a bit. So we got that one here. I'm also going to stamp this cute little flower here over in the corner here. And that'll be on the inside. And then finally, I'm going to stamp that one more time, and I'm going to stamp it right over here in the lower left corner of our envelope. Now, our next stamping is going to be the sentiment label. This is going to be a thank you card. And I'm just going to stamp it more towards the right because our flower is going to be here. Let me show you. So I'm going to just kind of put it over a little bit more towards the left side because we're going to be using the right side of it for that flower and ribbon. So we'll just sneak it over here just a little bit. So now we have, oh, that is really crooked. We have that area. Let me just try that again. I'll use the back side. Let me just, I got to pull it in here because there's too much glare going on here. Yeah, that's better. It's okay to use the back side. Okay, I think let's do one more thing, and that's going to stamp that back side here. And everything's good and go. Let's go. So we have lots of little pieces here, but I will have all die cut for you and cut. This paper here, I believe, is on back order right now, so this is a great way to get some of it is by placing that order. So we have a Secret C card base. It's an 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I've got two little panels here. I've got Petal Pink, which is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, and that's going to go our second layer. And then here is the lovely stripes. This one here, I embossed it horizontally, and that's what I forgot. I forgot to do it this way. I wanted it horizontal on my sample card, but ended up doing it portrait mode. So this one here will be horizontal. It'll be great to see them side by side. This one is cut 3 3/4 by 5, so they're just going to get adhered like that. So let's do that right now. Let's grab my seal. And lots of people have asked me, what is the front and what is the back side of this? You know, it really doesn't matter with embossed panels because the embossed side, which is this side here, and the way you can tell is these little dots here raised a little bit more than on the back side. So this is the embossed side and this is a debossed side. So if you want a flatter surface, go with the debossed side. But if you want the real kind of front side, let's call it, then just look at these little bumps here and just make sure they're coming towards you. And that's how you tell. I've gotten that question several times by my in-person classes. So let's put this one on here. It should be about 1/8 of an inch bigger or smaller than the Petal Pink, but when you emboss the panel, it is going to expand, or it could get smaller. So as you can see here, it stayed okay on this side here, and it was just the stretch going up and down. So I can take my paper trimmer and trim that off, and let me do that off camera, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I got that cut down so it looks a little bit better. This piece here is going to go right on the card front, and we'll add our Seal Plus once again. And we'll just center it right on the front here. Just look at all 4 sides before you really press it down. Our next layer up is going to be your designer paper. This is cut 3 by 3 1/4, so almost a square. I cut it a little bit longer, and I'll show you why. This piece here is just going to get centered on the top part of the card front here. So what I'm looking at is the top, right, and left borders. So we'll just simply add our Seal Plus once again. And look at your pattern just to make sure in one way or another it's going to look a little bit different. So I think I like it this way just because the flowers are kind of going more up towards the sky, let's say. Now I am looking at, again, the top left and right. It looks like I just need to pull it a little bit towards the left. And then we're going to add a different color of, or design of the paper. This is cut, let's see, 3 7/8 by 1 inch here. And I'm going to add it right to here. So it's going to go edge to edge with the petal pink. This just adds a nice little layer here to break things up. And the reason why I cut it a little bit longer is I want to be able to work with the space here. So we'll just add that on there. Our next layer up is going to be that sentiment. Let's see which one is, this is the crooked side here. And this is going to get centered in that little strip of designer paper. And now we have my little die cut here. Now this one here is colored in Wink Stella. Now we have cloud cover Stampin' Blends, and this is what I wanted to try. I wanted to try just coloring it in lightly around the center using the Stampin' Blend colors. We're going to use the dark and the light. So for the dark, I'm just going to kind of just go back and forth around the center here. I might have to color in the whole thing because I'm not sure I'm going to like that white. And then this one here, I just want to kind of bring up. I don't want to fill in all of the white. I just want to kind of like resemble what's on the designer paper. I have no idea what it's going to look like. We can always change things out. And I'm going to use a lighter color in the center here. Let's go with that, and I can always color it full if I need to when it's on the card. We're going to add that ribbon underneath first. So let's decide on how you want the flower to show on your card. You might want it angled, you might want it this way. I'm going to angle mine just a little bit. So that means my adhesive for the ribbon is going to go down on this side. Okay, and now we'll take the ribbon, grab my scissors here. Hopefully they're the sharp ones. I don't want to waste too much ribbon because, you know, it does cost money. There we go. And now I'm just going to add this. So it reminds me of one of those medals, you know, when the medals have ribbons on the bottoms of them like that. I'm not going to trim the tails yet. Okay. Let's add 3 dimensionals to the back side of the flower. And I will definitely try to catch the ribbon with the edge of the dimensional. I'm going to take my piercing tool here to get those backings off. And let's just put it like that. And then I'm gonna take my scissors here and I'm gonna cut the tails down now that I can see where it is on the card. I don't really want it going over the edge. There, that should be fine. Our next step is to take the stamp panel that we have and add it to the inside. Now I did forget to stamp something and it says so very much, so thank you so very much. So let me grab my ink pad real quick and we're going to stamp that right on that basic white panel. This panel is cut 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, and you can get 5 inserts from one 8 1/2 by 11 piece of basic white cardstock. Okay, now if you're going to color the front, you probably should color the inside of this one too. I'll do that later, but I don't know if I really like that flower like that. So I think what I'm going to do is let's color it in. And I'm just going to use the lighter cloud cover. And just some real light touches in coloring. I'm not going to press real hard. This is a Stampin' Blends I haven't used a lot, so there is a lot of ink in the barrel there. So I know if I miss a certain area, the ink should bleed in over towards it. You can also use the blending side of the Stampin' Blends. Let me show you that side. And if you use this side, you have to be really careful that you don't break the tip here. Because if you put any kind of pressure on it, you're probably going to break the tip. So it's used for blending more or less. And I like to use the side of the tip to do the blending. So I'll use the point to go around where the lines are towards the end and the ends, and then I will kind of just put it on its side. So again, I'm using the tip, and then I'll switch over and just use the side. There, I think that looks a lot better colored in. So what I'll do is later today, I will go in and I will color in this one as well. Okay, so our final touch is our embellishments. Again, these are the Moody palettes. And I'm going to grab, can't go with the green because there's no green in there. So let's go, I'm going to use this, I think it's cloud cover. And I'm going to use, let's go with the smaller one. Let's see what that looks like. So we'll definitely put one here. And then one about there. And let's put one right here. It's great. There's 3 different flowers. And you guys all know I like to use 3 embellishments. Okay, so that is your card. So let's put these side by side so you can kind of see the difference. And let me know, do you like this one here? And this is in Wink Estella, or do you like this one here on the right side with the cloud cover Stampin' Blends? While you guys are putting your comments in, I'm going to get ready for card number 3, which is a shaker card. You guys are going to love this one. All right, here's our fun little shaker card. We're using the Banner Sayings bundle and my grandma's sequins here with a little bit of ribbon here. So that's the front side, and then on the inside says cue the confetti. I'm going to put a different saying on here on the card we're going to be creating. So shaker card is one of your free gifts. We're going to use Old Olive ink. Here's how I designed the envelope, just adding some designer paper on the backs, on the flap there. So let's see what we're gonna make here. Let's get all of our stamping done. And there isn't really a lot, so that shouldn't take too long to do. So let's bring in our piercing mat here. I don't want to lose that. That's our window sheet, which is very important in this process. So let's take our old olive ink. And then we have one of the panels that go on the inside. This is going to say cue the confetti. We'll keep that one the same. And this really should be mounted on a B block, but I am all out of B as in boy blocks. So I had to put it on a C block. All right, that's it for that one. And then on the banner, let's see, we've got the banner sayings bundle has the 3 banner punch. So it punches out 3 banners at once. And this one would be in the middle. This one is down below and this one's up at the top. So something kind of like this. I'm going to give you all 3 so you can determine which one you want to use on your card front. For me today, I'm going to be using the one that has a double banner. And also in the kit, you will have this 3x4 window sheet. You'll also have a piece of 3x4 designer paper here. This is really, really popular. It is called the Lovely and Beautiful Specialty Designer Series paper. I'll have it already die cut using the ovals here, the everyday ovals. And did you know they're on the last chance list, you guys? So make sure if you don't have these yet, once you go grab them, that could be part of your order. I was sad to see that they were on there, so that means they probably won't be coming back to us. So you might as well get them while you can. I'll have it again. I'll have it already die cut for you, and you'll have a scrap of designer paper in there for your inside panel. And then we've got old olive card base with a panel of the DSP. So let's grab the other sentiment, and this is going to say, "Here's to you." So here's to you, cue the confetti. And let's put that a little bit closer to me just so I can see it. And I'm going to just turn it over because it looks a little like I re-inked my ink pad. So it just seems like it was a little too juicy. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. So we'll use that one. And then I'm going to grab my Angel Policy while we have out the ink because it coordinates tone on tone. A little crooked, but that's okay. It's handmade. We are all done with Old Olive. And now it's fun time to put this all together. So I'm going to put some of these things together so we don't lose them. So I'm going to start with this panel here, which is 4x5 1/4, and it's one of the patterns in the pack. Let's grab my Stampin' Seal Plus. And I did finally remember that die cut we used on the very first card here. Right there. Do you guys know what it is? Spotlight on Nature. So I don't know why I couldn't remember that one, but some things slip. All right, I'm going to look. Most of this is going to get covered up, but more of the edges are not. So kind of look at the edges and see, you know, your primary color is very like the foil on it. This is a flower, so I'm going to put this panel going towards this way. Okay, so that's good. We also have to determine what we want for the inside. So you can see here that this frame has one side of the paper, and then on the inside it's got the different side. So figure out what you want. So what I mean by that is, do you want it to look like this? Or do you want it to look like this? So there's all different kinds of ways you can use this setup. Okay, and then the other one is basically tone on tone. So what I mean by that is like this. This will be, the frame will be popped up, or do you want it this way? So determine what you want to, you know, to your liking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add this, basically the back side of this is going to be showing, and we know that when we die cut, we have like scratchy sides, but don't worry because this is on the inside of that frame and it doesn't really matter. So let's get this stuck down so we don't lose it. And I'm going to center this right on the card front itself. That looks pretty good. Now we can set this aside. Let's bring in that inside panel so we can get this little strip attached. Another piece we don't want to lose. And I'll just add it to the bottom with a little bit of white showing underneath. And now's the time, if your paper goes over the edge, to trim it down. Mine is going over the edge just a little bit, but I'm going to trim it down. Okay, we can also add this to the inside of the card too. So that leaves us with just that focal point to work on. Okay, it's really easy, you guys. Don't get really super nervous about making a shaker card. The biggest thing is you want this to lay down flat. So, I mean, this is really scored nicely and burnished, but I'm gonna open it up so it looks like this. We are going to now take our frame, our little window sheet here. We are going to attach these two together, okay? So you've got to be careful with if you're using liquid glue, be really careful, okay? We don't want liquid glue going on that window sheet. Oh, this Seal Plus is, and I don't have my, you guys are probably laughing at me because I don't have my silicone craft sheet down. And I really need to get this so it's all connected because we don't want our little sequins to go through these. Oh my goodness. Let's see. We don't want to lose our sequins. Okay, so now I've got some adhesive over the edges. This is horrible. Oh boy, maybe I should start over. Who knows? That's okay. You guys can see me fix things, right? Okay, I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to take this piece here so I can see it a little bit better. I'm going to put it on my card. And what I do is I focus on the corner. So I'm going to work in the bottom or the lower left corner. And these 2 points are going to get connected together. Okay. And then I'm going up to the top left. And then everything else should fall in place. Okay. Now, if you have some window sheet that's over the edge, even if it's a little bit, you need to cut that off right now. I've got some adhesive that's kind of going over. Let's fold it over the edge. It's so super sticky. I'm just gonna go like this. I've got some glue right here. And I got a little bit showing. So this is a great example. I don't even know if you can see it. There's a little bit of Seal Plus right there. So if you get liquid glue on here, that's what you're going to see. All right. I've got a little bit over there, a little bit there. I just missed them one and I didn't fold them over. So I'm also looking on the edges here to see if I can see any of the window sheet. I do see some more glue over here. So let's fold that under. All right, I think that's good enough for now. Now we're going to flip it over so we see the back side. We do have, and you will get in your kit, adhesive strips. And what I did, I'll show you what I did. We get 2 of these sheets, and I wrote on the front label here what the size is. So 2 3/4 by 9 1/4. So they come like this, and they're really, you know, they're long. And these are the ones that we have left over. I gave you half of one of these plus another one and a half of another one, just so you have enough and you don't run out. But I'm going to be using all these little pieces here. We made this class at my last Hartford Parks and Rec. We made this card at my last Parks and Rec class. So these are just adhesive strips that are left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, so let's bring in that camera. I am taking that adhesive strip and I am putting it down the middle, okay? I don't want it too close to the edge here and I don't want it too close there, okay? And then I can trim this off with my paper snips, or you can tear it off. I'm going to use this piece just because I don't want to waste it. We do not want any gaps, because if we have gaps, our sequins will fall out. Let's find this one here. If you do not have adhesive strips, then your edges of your dimensionals will work as well. So you see I just tore that off. I'm not going to throw that out because that can be used as a dimensional. All right, let's pull another strip off. We'll push this over here, right up close to that other one. Bring it up here and let's trim it off. Make sure you use a scissors that you don't, you know, like your adhesive scissors, because they will get a little sticky. Okay, so now let's just go like that. And now is the time to press these down really well. You do not want these coming off. Okay, I'm going to take the backings off. These are just like your Stampin' Dimensionals. They do have a backing to them. Okay, got them all off. So that's ready to go. Now let's take this card front. Okay, I'm gonna just keep it, oh shoot. Of course I did that. That was almost a disaster. Okay, my grandma, she was interesting. She, you know, she saved her money, and you know, those little berry patch orange marmalade jars, they're so super cute. That's how she kept her sequins. So I thought that was super fun. So you'll get some of her sequins. I just take a pinch, and I like to use a variety of colors, of course. And they don't have to be the colors that are in your paper. I'm just taking, these are containers that I had, but she had these all in jars. I'm just taking a pinch, that's all, or with just a variety of colors. Let's throw some gold in there, maybe some orange. Oh, we gotta have some purple too. But I already have your sequins in little baggies, so they'll all be all mixed up. Let's do one more color. The trick is you want these to stay in the center for right now. I'm going to push these over here. This is going to be the hardest part for me doing this on camera. So I'm going to have to try to do my best. I gotta stand up high here. What you want to do is you're going to hover over, and then you're going to add your frame so it kind of lines up with the oval. And then we press it down. You can use a block as well. It might be easier for you. And now you have your little shakers, and that's so cute. Even the different colors, like we've got red in there, they look really super cute. Now, this time of year, you probably have static electricity. Don't worry about that. You can use your embossing buddy if you want, but it will or may leave a fine little hint of that embossing powder. So I like to wing it and hope it works out, which this one did. Okay, so we got our fun little shaker here. I'm going to take my little banner and I'm going to add it here. I'm going to put it on here with some dimensionals, and that's just to get it up a little bit higher off of that window sheet. You can, let's use this piece, this strip here that's excess that we didn't use yet, and put it on the back of that banner. And I like to just kind of put it at an angle here. The biggest thing is you want to see these sequins. So I didn't want to put it down here because then, you know, when it's open, you got it standing up, all the sequins are down here, but then you could have your banner down there and that wouldn't look as good either. Okay, our final step here is to jazz it up with a little bit of ribbon. And for the ribbon, I use the Basic Beige Classic ribbon. And we're just going to do this same thing we did. Well, no, actually, no, we're going to tie a knot. So basically, we're going to just tie one of these little knots. If you're still with me, thank you so much. You can always fast forward. Just tie it kind of tight there. Now, you'll have to have your mini glue dots. Let me find mine here over in the corner. I don't use them that often, but I do use them when I have ribbon. So I'm going to take one of those and gently pull it off. And I fold that little adhesive underneath. And I'm just going to simply put it right here. And now that I have it on the card, I can trim it down to whatever I want it to be. So I'll just cut 1/2 inch off. Let's just take a look at it. I think it looks great. You don't need any embellishments on this card because it's already got them inside the sequins. Okay. And then here's this one. So we can line these up together and you can see how different they are. Hopefully you can, and you're not having a lot of glare. I'll just kind of tilt them off like this. Okay, you guys, let me know if you like this one here on the left side or the one on the right side. Me, I like this one here. I love the pop of the orange. Okay, we got one more card to go, and it's using the Sunshine and Tulips stamp set, the bundle, and I believe I've already made this card, so it might look a little bit familiar to you. However, I wanted to send it to you in the card kits. All right, stay tuned. Okay, here's the last card for today, and in our March 1st to 14th free card class for you. So we're using the Sunshine and Tulips, but we're only in this card here using the stamp set. I've used the dies on other cards, which you have seen, I believe, in a previous video. So if you want to see how I use this one, look back in my playlist. But for today's card, we're going to be using the Thanks for Your Thoughtfulness. We're going to use the tulips and Sending a Garden of Love for the inside. And plus, we're going to be using all of the little stamps here to create the tulip. Super fun card. I could use, or I could make this card in every single Stampin' Up color, even the grays. I just love how this is all set up. So what we're going to do is let's go through the pieces here, and then we'll do some stamping, and then we'll assemble. So we're definitely going to stamp that tulip on the envelope corner. I did emboss the white panel with the Beautiful Pattern embossing folder. It's just kind of like one of those little subtle embossing folders. Let me just show you what it looks like. And hopefully you can see what it looks like. I've got some shadows going on in my craft room tonight, but just a nice little design, very subtle, doesn't kind of like, it's not 3D or anything. I just really like how just smooth it looks. So this is going to be added to the card front. It's 5 1/4 by 4. And then I'm using basic white thick. So it's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. So let's get some stamping done, and then it's really super quick to put together. Let's bring in our piercing mat one more time, and we've got this one here. We're going to work on the front here, which is that focal point. I like to start with the sentiment first, and then we'll work on the flower. So this one here is thanks for your thoughtfulness. I've got it mounted diagonal on a D block, and I'm going to be stamping in Strawberry Slush. And this has been re-inked, my ink pad here, so I don't know how it's going to stamp, but what I want to do is I want to stamp on the lower part because the tulip is going to be up in this area. So let me just stand on my tippy toes. Yeah, that's not too bad. So we've got that stamped, and now let's work on the tulip itself. I like to start with the leaves, and those are going to be stamped in Granny Apple Green, just a nice little pop of green. And I've got it, the little leaves are on a B block. I'm going to stamp around the F as in 4, where the word 4 is. Okay, now we're going to move on and stamp the little tulip in the corner on the inside of the card. And then we're going to stamp the envelope. So see how we're kind of mass producing this tulip. All right, so that is done. Now we're going to switch back to, no, we're going to switch to Pretty in Pink. This would look really great in our purples. Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. That would look really nice. Okay, so let's bring this back in. We're going to stamp the middle of that tulip, and kind of looks like an egg. I like to have this little, the pointy part towards the top. And again, I'll try to stamp while standing on my tippy toes. Okay, now we'll go back to the envelope. And then the white panel. On this tulip part, you really want to pay attention to the tip of the top of that centerpiece, because you want that going straight. Okay, now we're going to fill in with this stamp here, and that is going to be stamped in Strawberry Slush. Isn't that so cute? Oh my goodness. I could totally use this all day long. I'm getting ink on my blocks tonight. No idea why. A little rusty maybe. Okay, so now we're going to switch over to the little line of tulips, and that is going to be stamped in Strawberry Slush. Actually, no, let me stamp the message, sending a garden of love. Then I'll be able to stamp the tulips. Okay, we're going to stamp these tulips. Let me re-ink. And I'm looking at the middle tulip, and I'm centering that under the word love. There you go. Isn't that cute with that little row of tulips? Now, if you think this is too busy, then just do not add this, okay? I didn't add it. I kind of was winging it because I couldn't remember if it was added on the inside. Doesn't look like it did, so you might want to just leave this one out. Highly suggest just leave it out. It looks a little too busy, but that's okay. All right, very easy to assemble this card, you guys. So super easy. So let's grab that panel, and I'm adding the adhesive to the debossed side, so that's the flatter side. And let's see, where is that card front? Here we go. It's white on white, so it's a little bit harder to see. And now we've got our strawberry slush. This is 4 1/8 by 3 1/8, and we follow up with the white, which is 3 by 4. I will have all of the supplies I used in the description box of the YouTube video. Just scroll down until you see the supply list, and I will also have it on the instruction sheets too, because you'll get printed instruction sheets shipped with your card kits as well. Let's grab 5 dimensionals and just add them to the back here, press them down really well, and then peel them off. I think I'm just going to peel them off because my wrist hurts too much. And then this simply gets adhered right to the front. No embellishments because the white on white, it's just super crisp and clean. If you want, you can add some Wink Stella, which we did in our class. And just to highlight the tulip itself. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that, but it's sparkly on my side. Okay, so let's recap. So here's these two. This one I just made. This one is a sample. We've got our envelopes. I'll put all the envelopes over to the other side. Here's the here's to you and happy birthday. You make me smile. Oh wait, that was the first one. Let's go to the thank you. And then this is our sample. And now here's this one, you make me smile, and you make me smile. So for your order of $75, you'll get this pile here. With an order of $125, you'll get both piles plus a random, whatever I have, package of an embellishment. So I hope you go this route because look at all these cards you can make. You'll make 8 of them and get some free embellishments too. So you can head to my website, inspiredbygraham.com, and hit the shop now button. If you would rather have me put your order together, I'd be happy to do that. You can email it to me directly, and it's super easy to send you a link so you can just finish it off and put your payment in there and it will go. So I hope you enjoyed this month's card class. I know it was a little bit long, but these cards needed that time to create, especially the shaker card here. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please leave them in a comment section, or you can email me directly, and my email address is in the description box. Thanks so much, and you guys have a great day.